Oh, my shit froze. Alright, everybody, welcome back to another video. You feel me?
Hey, man, get them. Oh, my ear.
As I am just getting out of the theater, as per usual, today we are going to be talking about Companion, released January 31st, 2025, directed by Drew Hancock. Boys! I'm gonna say it again. Boys, let me tell y'all about this. This movie blew my expectations out the water. Before I say anything else, of course, I'm gonna throw up one of them spoiler warnings, you know what I'm saying? If you have not watched Companion in its entirety and you do not want to be spoiled, because I will be talking about this movie in some length, I suggest you cut the video off, go watch the movie, come back to it, you know what I'm saying? It's still gonna be here for you. If you don't care, you don't care. We welcome you anyway. Off the rip, by the way, because this literally was the first thing that I noticed, because it was the first thing that happened on the screen. The first strong point we're going to start this movie off with is New Line Cinema. New Line Cinema? If you don't know about New Line Cinema, let me put y'all on. This one of them ones, though. This one right here. This one, actually, scratch that, because they only did the remake for Friday the 13th, and we don't talk about that one. But they did do Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X. Hey, y'all gotta check this fit though. Those are somewhat decent. This intro is quite decent. Actually, it's very good. It's very, 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 very good. Off the rip though, just to throw off what caught my eye immediately, our main character, who is Iris, played by Sophie Thatcher. Damn, dude, she look good in this movie. Let me just say that she look good. Her character Iris gives off some vintage vibes though, you know what I'm saying? Just how she dressed, right? I'm thinking this is a more like retro type movie, you know what I'm saying? This is supposed to take place like modern times. Like this could have happened like last week. Another strong point we're gonna throw at y'all pretty early is the soundtrack's quite fire. So fitting for this film. Who is the lead composer, whatever you call him? He did his thing on this thing, you know what I'm saying? What did I don't know. Matter of fact, the score is pretty damn good also, you know what I'm talking about. This sounds great, it looks great. We get a beautiful shot of this lake they're supposed to be at for the entirety of the movie. It's not a solo location movie, I'll throw that off. As much as you might think it is, it's not. We do move a little bit, but that's not a bad thing in this case. I think it worked out very, very well for this movie. The casting, I think, is another thing I'm gonna throw up here for a strong point, because this cast was fire. A banger actor right here we get in this casting as well. Jack goddamn Quaid. If you watch The Boys, you know what I'm talking about. But for the OGs, you know his dad, Dennis Quaid. Now, that man can act. That's a power family right there. You know what I'm talking about? He's one of them Nepo babies. Now, these two, Iris and Josh, as the movie begins, we're in like some type of dreamscape, flashback-ish type memory, whatever you want to call it, where Iris is therefore meeting Josh for the first time. It's a bit awkward. It's cute puppy love type-ish, you know what I'm saying? Again, spoilers, but it doesn't last too long. Now they're on their way to meet up with their friends for some type of weekend getaway. Funny enough, I noticed this immediately. This guy played Lewis from Smile 2. Lucas Gage. He plays a guy named Patrick. I thought that was kind of cool. I think he did a fantastic job in Smile 2. In Smile 2, oof. Iris actually is meeting these people for the first time. She wants to leave a good impression on these people. So we do meet more of Josh's friends, starting with Kat, who's played by Megan Suri. We don't like Kat. We don't like Kat over here. Just how she presents herself as a person, terrible. We also do meet another one of his friends named Eli. We also then meet Megan's boyfriend slash sugar daddy. I don't know, the relation's weird. His name is Sergey. Sergey cannot be a real person. And as I'm editing this, I came to realize this nigga played Hitman 47. Is that not crazy? They pan the camera to Sergey as if he's a superhero. Like, not a superhero, but I should say like as if he's like a statue. Not even looking at nobody, just on some like nonchalant shit. But it's like, dude, what are you doing? I mean, greet your guest, you know what I'm saying? It's his house. It's Sergey's house they're at. Off the rip, we see that Sergey is like rich. Actually, there's a joke here where Josh asks him like, you don't own the lake, do you? And he says, quote unquote, no, I just own all the land around it. So yeah, he's a douchebag, if you didn't catch my drift there. He's so Russian. I don't know if that's racist to say, but I feel like it is, so I'm gonna leave it there. We're meeting all the couples and stuff. I guess Patrick is dating Eli, Kat is dating Sergey, of course Josh and Iris are together. As Patrick is describing how him and Eli met, Iris chimes in. She thinks it's a very nice, like, it's very cute how they met. You can just tell she's head over heels with Josh. It's a scary type of affection she shows him, because it's like, dude, if this isn't wasn't reciprocated, you'd feel so bad for it. I've been on the other end of that. It's not fun when the feelings aren't shared. You know what I'm saying? Before we get more into this movie, I do not like Kat. Off the rip, she's giving me such bad vibes. Like, she's not a good person. We find out that her and Sergey aren't really even together. She's more of like, she calls herself an accessory. She's like the third in Sergey's relationship. That douchebag is actually married, having sex with girls on the side because he can. Like, no joke, Kat says this. He just has her to have her. I was like, what the freak? She generally just found no problem with how he was treating her, I guess. They explain why. It just looks bad on Sergey's part is all. Now, I do like the camera work we get here. Very early, we see a lot of the good like camera work in this film when, you know, these people are all dancing around. They're enjoying each other's company and all that. Very cool group. All that shit. As these people are all dancing and stuff, Josh kind of pulls away and he's talking to Kat about something. Iris is a little more like insecure about her relationship at this point because of something Kat said, of course. I don't know why she's such a just a rude bitch, for lack of a better word. We cut to the next scene, and this is our first WTF moment of the movie, cause what the f***? No joke, the next frame is Josh mid-orgasm. I wish I didn't say that. Oh!
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Gets off Iris. You can tell they just had coitus. So it's so sad to see Iris in this relationship because Josh does not share the same feelings as her. Iris is telling Josh she's so happy to be with Josh right now. You know what Josh says? Iris, go to sleep. So yeah, these feelings are not reciprocated and I feel bad for her already. We get a better sense of the score here. Again, it's very, very, very well put together in general, just the entirety of the movie. I think it's great. When it gets nonchalant, it's cool. When we get serious, it gets serious. You know what I'm saying? It builds the tension. I love all that shit. Iris and Josh are supposed to go down to the lake. They want to spend a couple hours down there, but Josh apparently has such a hangover he doesn't want to go down right now. He wants to, you know, take some time. So he tells Iris to go there by herself, which she does. And let me say this before I carry on. We do see Josh has this little thumb drive. We don't know what it is, but they build a lot of tension around that. So just remember the thumb drive there. We do get another beautiful shot of this lake. Fantastic. I love the set piece here. I love the location, I should say, actually. As Sophie is on the beach, for some reason pulls out a knife. I don't know why she pulled out a knife. Actually, well, the reason why I thought she pulled out the knife was something crazy. I thought she was gonna off herself because like Josh isn't feeling her how she's feeling him. So I was like, damn, it's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? Calm down. When Sergey pulls up, she puts it away, of course. Sergey's so weird. Immediately she's uncomfortable about him. Just his aura is just pervert. She tries to walk back to the house to check in on Josh because again he's having a hangover, but Sergey begs this woman to stay and keep him company. As my guest, please give me company. That's a bad accent, but you get my point. This is a turn here because when she agrees to stay with him to keep him company, he then asks Iris to put sunscreen on his back and he's like, don't want to have too much tan. And I'm just like, bro, switch seats with her then. She's under the umbrella, so if you don't want to tan, switch seats with her. She's in the sun, you're under the umbrella. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Problem solved. And probably would have saved his life too. He actually grabs her hand and she's like, what are you doing? Kat, give me permission. He's saying Kat told him he could just assault this woman on the beach. He's grabbing her, he's kissing on her neck. Ugh. Cut back to the house where everyone else is at. Josh, funny enough, is seemingly miraculously cured of his hangover that he had 5 minutes ago. So they're all chilling in the living room. Kat, Patrick, Eli, and Josh. And in walks Iris. Given that we're thinking Iris is about to get R-worded, I'm praying to God that's not what happens. But when she walks in, we see that she is covered in blood. And I mean covered. And we're like, damn, what happened? Turns out she stabbed Sergey in the neck, protecting herself. Holy hell. That was crazy. Like, not an ounce of like the thriller aspect we're supposed to be getting. My gosh. Like, we get a couple of WTF moments in a row here, including what just happened to Sergey. Everyone's freaking out because she's covered in blood. Now, Josh is trying to figure out what the hell happened. Iris is telling him she's freaking out, basically. He was trying to attack me, I had to protect myself. And then we actually come back in like a flashback that she did defend herself, like when he was groping on her and stuff. She grabs a bottle of like vodka or something, smacks him across the head. He falls, he lands on a rock. He gets mad, he starts choking the shit out of her. She of course is afraid for her life, so she actually pulls the knife out, and then that's when we see her jam it in this dude's neck. And my God, there was a lot of blood. Now, when she says this to Josh, here's our next WTF moment of the movie. Because Josh just looks at her and says, Iris, go to sleep. And her eyes go milky white, like the same as how she looked in the poster for this movie. She just stops moving. And I'm like, wait, what? It was just me in the theater when I said this, but I was like, wait, what? And that's another thing. Why was it just me in this theater? Was no one else as hyped for this movie as I was? I was just sitting there like, yo. The fuck y'all at? Now, the next WTF moment of the movie, we cut back to the next scene. Iris is now tied up in a chair. Eli and Josh are talking. This conversation is creepy as shit. Eli's like, do you know what happened? How could this, like, what was going on with her? And I'm thinking, y'all not freaking out because she killed someone? I understand it was in self-defense, but she walks in covered in blood. I'm gonna have some questions regardless. We find out here, and I mean here, Iris is a robot. What? I don't know if this was supposed to be played out like this. I walked into this movie having no idea that she was an android is what they call it, I guess. Josh explains to her that she is a robot or android that is completely subservient, built for human companionship, hence the movie name Companion. What the freak, bro? Turns out Josh, this is so weird, has purchased Iris. All her memories are fake because she asks him, she says, what about when we first met? I just kind of picked it out in the drop down in your settings. Oh, and this blew my mind because I thought about it after a little bit because she's supposed to do everything he says, right? What is Iris spelled backwards? That's crazy. There's not many, but there's a couple signs here that like she's been a robot the whole time. One of the signs being that he calls her beep boop. And I mean like B-E-E-P-B-O-O-P, as in boop boop beep boop. Another thing is when in the beginning of the movie starts with him saying, Iris, wake up. That's her command. Like that's a command for her, basically like a shutdown. In this scene right here, I feel so bad for Iris. I don't want to give Jack Quaid credit for his acting here, but it was pretty damn good. He generally just bought a robot online for companionship because he's such a loser. This scene just broke my heart. Josh is being so cold about this. Like he's telling her, he's like, what do you want me to say? He's like, you know, you're just a robot, nothing much else to it. As if that didn't shatter her entire world. Also, just mentioning this, her outfits, I guess, are supposed to stand out because she's not human. She's dressed almost like a Barbie. He tried to be nice about it, but he says, you're a robot built for companionship and to fuck. What? From what I've seen in the trailers, I had no idea about this. I was genuinely shocked. This was not the vibes I was getting when I watched the trailer. I thought it was just a psychopath and his ex-girlfriend, lover-ish, whatever you call it. Now, we do find out Kat and Josh have set this whole thing up. Like this was a plan to kill Sergey. Josh's justification here is that Sergey is a Russian mobster. What? So you set him up to be killed? You know what I'm saying? That's one of them things where like two wrongs don't make a right. You know what I'm saying? So Josh and Kat are talking about this plan. And in the meanwhile, Iris does notice that the knife from earlier is on the floor. So she actually manages to get free. Josh comes back. She throat chopped the shit out this nigga. That was kind of lit. She then runs off into the forest because she's freaking out about this whole situation, as anyone would, right? Josh is freaking out though because she took his phone, and they're like, why do you care about your phone? What's the big deal about her running off? You know, the police will get her. And then that's when Josh explains to Eli and Patrick that this was all a plan to get Sergey killed. And then Eli's like, wait, how did she even kill him though? Because these companion bots or whatever they're called are designed so where they're not supposed to hurt people. Like they can't harm humans, animals, or other companions. Here's where Josh comes into the play. Josh has actually modded Iris's safeguards so that she's able to protect herself. I didn't want to laugh here because this is such a sad situation, but Eli's like, wait, so you jailbroke your sex bot? As they do tell Eli about everything now, like they spilled the beans. Eli and Patrick were supposed to be just witnesses, like they weren't part of the plan. Josh felt that if we had more witnesses, this would be better to corroborate their story about Iris going crazy and killing Sergey. Eli is like, okay, now we're gonna cut the $12 million 4 ways. Me, Patrick, Josh, and Kat. And Josh is like, what the hell are you talking about? You mean 3 ways? And he's like, no, because it's gonna be me, you, Kat, and Patrick. And then Josh was like, Patrick does not count. And then we find out, and I was dying when this happened, Patrick's a robot too. Eli shuts him down and starts freaking out because he's trying, like, don't ruin this for me. And Josh is like, bro, we're not giving a robot $4 million. Like, Eli wakes Patrick back up. They decide that they're gonna go hunt after Iris. They don't want her going to the police about this. This is the intro, in my opinion. I think this is where the movie starts. The intro again, fire, freaking fuego. Now, as Iris is going through the forest, we actually get a cool little scene here where she's going through all the different settings for her, like her companion body, whatever you want to call it. Now, this is crazy because she can change her eye color, she can change her language, she can change her voice, She can even change her intelligence. We see here that Josh only had her at 40% intelligence. He had her dumb as a bag of rocks, yo. I'm just gonna speak about the acting here again. The acting is so goddamn good from everyone, of course, especially Iris. Jack Quaid's doing a pretty goddamn good job, and the rest of our actors here. We are getting a lot out of this movie also, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's not just a typical thriller. Patrick and Eli actually split off from Kat and Josh as they're looking for Iris, and Eli almost slips up that Patrick's a robot too, but it turns out Patrick actually knows, but he's still in love with Eli. Now, Eli and Patrick do run into Iris, of course. Eli, for some reason, has a freaking revolver that I'm assuming he stole out of Sergei's stash. When he does catch back up to Iris, and they actually fall down a hill at this point, they wrestle for the gun. Iris, unfortunately, does shoot Eli as he is on top of her. Iris now has turned up her intelligence to 100%. So she is quite smart at this point. She's trying to figure out a way to get back to her apartment so she can get away from these people. She actually has to have a good idea of where she could go back to the car that's self-driving and just tell it to take her home. Pretty solid plan, right? So she gets back to the car. Now Josh has found her again, so he's chasing her at this point, and she actually can't start the car because it is voice identification only, I guess. Now this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying they cooked here. She realizes that she's not gonna be able to start the car without Josh's voice, of course, so she starts fiddling around with the voice changer, and she actually manages to get her voice to sound just like Josh's. That was pretty damn cool. And then she starts the car. Now this was a good plan, but Josh, being the psycho that he is, as she drives off, Josh does find Sergei's phone. I don't know if he gets access to the car again or whatever through like an app, but he then reports the car stolen, making the car stop, or hitting the kill switch technically. Now Josh is a psycho because the way he talks to Iris as if he's not going to kill her, she knows that he's gonna either reboot her or reset her, whatever, as he throws her under the bus for Sergei's death and stuff. It's funny because when Josh calls his phone that's in the car, Iris and Josh start talking. Iris actually just ends up dumping Josh. How do you get dumped by a robot? Now this is not the movie I imagined at all. This is just not the story I had in mind. Like, I didn't think this was gonna happen at all. Now actually, when the car is pulled over to the side, a police officer, or actually a deputy, shows up. Now the companions are designed to where they can't lie even if they want to, meaning no matter what you ask them, they will tell you the truth. When the police shows up, granted that she knows she's gonna tell the truth regardless, when the police officer questions her, she changes her language to German, and he can't understand a lick of what's going on. Turns out the cop actually knows Sergei, and he's trying to tell her that I'm just gonna take you back then, because I don't know what the hell you're saying, so I'm just taking you to Sergei's house. We're gonna straighten this out there. She's like, no, let's not do that, and stuff like that. I guess the deputy figured she was resisting arrest, which she wasn't under arrest though, so I don't know what happened. So he puts her in handcuffs. Now we're gonna cut back to the forest where Eli got shot. Josh is freaking out now. He gets back to Patrick, and Patrick, he's just tuned out at this point. The companions do have a reset switch where if you use your thumb, there's a thumbprint scanner on the back of behind their ear. You hold your thumb there for like 5 seconds, they completely reset. Why I'm saying that is because Josh resets Patrick, meaning that Josh now turns Patrick into his companion to hunt down Iris. Josh has the modding thing still that he used on Iris, and he uses it to turn Patrick into a killer. Basically, he turns his aggression all the way up, and then when the deputy's trying to arrest Iris, Patrick walks up to him. He beats the shit out of this officer. Patrick like a gay Terminator, bro.
Yeah, Queen.
My only drawback here, the CGI was pretty bad. Now, cut back to the house. Patrick was able to subdue Iris because she's in handcuffs, but he brings her back with the cop's body as well. Kat figures she's gonna cut her losses, take her money, and dip the fuck out, which she does. We do find out here that Kat actually lied to Josh about Sergei being a bad person. He's not a bad guy. He got his money for legit, so they just killed an innocent dude for no reason. Fuck Kat. Again, like, I apologize for cousin, but she's a bad person. Now, Josh not wanting Kat to leave because this is just gonna further complicate his plans, and if anything, get him caught at the end of the day. He actually tells Patrick to stop Kat, and holy hell, Patrick decides to stab this girl in the back pretty damn hard, if you ask me. And Kat, still being the rude bitch that she is, she can't even die peacefully. She's complaining the whole time. Now, next scene, we actually are in the trailer where Josh is having dinner with Iris handcuffed to the seat. When I watched the trailer, I truly thought this was the entire movie. No, this is an hour and some change in the movie. And oh, the runtime pretty damn good for this film. Let me throw up a strong point for that. The pacing was phenomenal. This being like 90 minutes, perfect. Love all that shit. Josh plans to throw Iris under the bus, blame her for all these deaths. Now, damn. Iris starts cooking this nigga. I loved you even though you're such a loser. This dude, Josh, is such a damn psycho. Like, I've said that before, I'm gonna say it again. This dude's a damn psycho. He's going on and on about like how, like why he got the companion in the first place. Life has been so bad to him. Dude's a bitch. Now here he dumbs down Iris. Like, he turns her intelligence all the way to 0. And by 0, basically she's just a zombie. Like, she has to do whatever he says regardless. So he tells her, put your arm up in front of you. I hated this scene so much because he then puts a candle under her hand. The candle is burning the shit out of this girl and she can't do anything. Her acting though, my gosh. Sophie Thatcher doing her thing. Now, here is Josh's endgame here. He then tells Iris to pick up this gun, and Josh tells Iris to then hold the gun up to her head and pull the trigger, which she does. Now, the company that created Patrick and Iris, they're called Empathics. Josh calls them, pretending that she's gone crazy and she killed all his friends and stuff like that. So they then come to pick up Iris's body. Now, Josh, and this was pretty smart on his part, I'm not gonna lie. Josh has Patrick wear the deputy's uniform. He then explains that she just went crazy, and then when Patrick showed up, she blew her brains out. It's such a flimsy story, but I guess the guy falls for it. They do tell Josh that actually she has a recording device, and that information is actually stored in her abdomen and her SSD. That doesn't seem damaged, so they're just gonna pull what information they can. And Josh is freaking out again because he's gonna get found out. He then sends Patrick after these two people, and my god, Patrick again, he's dead as the Terminator, and he killed that dude in the freaking van, and the driver's seat of the van they pulled up in. So damn. Then he chases the other dude into the forest after he gets out, because that I would have ran too. Now, they did end up rebooting Iris before they went out like how they did. She tries to stop him with like a cattle prod they had back there for some fucking reason, and she can't do it. She decides to go the mental route about it. She's trying to remind him of Eli, and it works. He remembers Eli. He remembers what Josh did to him, essentially, what Josh got him into, and then he remembers that he doesn't want to live without Eli, I guess. Takes the cattle prod and puts it in his mouth, turns it on, and that's the end of Patrick. Now, Iris then turns to the technician that didn't die and asks him for a favor. We get back to the house. Josh, thinking that everything's hunky-dory because he just sent the damn Terminator after these two people. Little does he know that Patrick's dead, of course. Iris is in the house, but he thinks it's Patrick because he hears Patrick. When Josh walks back into the living room, he sees Iris. Iris now has a couple new tricks up her sleeve, you know what I'm saying? She now has full control over her body, that she doesn't have them strings on her, for lack of a better word, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Pinocchio. Josh is so damn messed up. He's being so cocky about this. Like, Iris is now holding him at gunpoint, basically. She's saying, I don't need you anymore and all that. Josh, being the cocky son bitch he is, he's like, oh, you're not gonna shoot me. You might want to shoot me, but you're not going to because you still love me, yada, 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 yada. She actually doesn't shoot him. I would have blasted that fool. That's one of the few drawbacks I have from this movie, because she should have blew that nigga away. Now they start fighting, and by fighting I mean he's just straight ragdolling her shit. I don't know why she's not fighting back at this point. Again, Josh is a psycho. He wants Iris to tell him for some reason that you're all I need, or he says you're everything to me or something like that, and it's like, bro, golly, this nigga wants his ego stroke so badly. Of course she does it. I guess she's still in love with him or whatever. Now Josh has the upper hand. He takes the gun from Iris and he's prepared to shoot her, but he's gonna shoot her in the stomach to destroy the recording of the footage, of course, in her body. Right before he's about to put a hole in her stomach, he says, you got any last words? And she says, yes I do. Go to sleep, Josh. She jams a corkscrew in his head, and it's an automatic corkscrew. It's not one of those like the ones you do manually where you turn it and then you get the cork out. Jams in his head, and then it starts drilling into his brain, and then it pulls out a piece of his brain and his skull, and I was like, oh. But that is how Josh dies. Pretty satisfying, I'm not gonna lie. We actually, the next day, she waits the whole day, I guess, and we see her hand, dog. Her hand is so messed up. She actually peels this like the material off her hand, and we see the robot hand underneath. Ugh. The movie ends with her driving off. She actually pulled off in a Mustang. That was pretty damn lit. It was a beautiful car she pulled off in. The credits are rolling, but we do get a kind of like a mid-credit scene here where as she's driving down the road, there's this couple in a car next to her. We see inside the car, the woman in the passenger seat looks exactly like Iris. I think it's obvious here that Iris is just a model of companions. So then she just drives off, having full control of her own body. She's gonna start fresh, I guess, now with the freaking Anakin Skywalker hand. That's how the movie ends. Again, this movie's pretty damn good. I like it a lot. Probably gonna be one of my favorite movies of the year, and I was not expecting to like this movie as much as I did. Gonna give her overall ratings, of course, here. Now, starting off with the writing and story. Ooh, this this writing, this story, this writing is going to honestly get a 9 out of 10 for me. 9.5. I can't say 9 out of 10. 9.5. The only reason why it's not a 10 is because it didn't. Actually, I don't know what would have made this a 10, but I just can't. It don't feel right to give this a 10. I'm gonna say 9.5. I think it's pretty damn good though. Let me tell you that. Next is the sound design in the score. Again, I love the soundtrack that we have here. The sound design's not that really noticeable, so I don't really think it carries that much weight here. But the soundtrack is pretty damn good. Of that alone, I'm gonna give it 7.5 out of 10. It's not very immersive. Like, it's not gonna pull you into the movie, but there's only so much they could have gotten away with here. I understand why the sound design's not as good as you might think it is, but even so, 7.5, that's not bad at all. Next is the casting and acting. Beautiful. I love all these actors. The only one I didn't like, of course, is Kat, but the acting was pretty good on her part either way. But the casting was fantastic. The acting was pretty damn good also. So we're gonna give this a 9 out of 10. And Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid carried the shit out of this, by the way. So yeah, next is going to be the cinematography. It's pretty damn good. It's very easy to follow. I don't think there's one shot where I was just like, what the heck? That being said, I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10. I think that's very, very fair. Now for the overall rating, companion, I'm going to give this movie a 8.5 out of 10. Actually, no, I'm gonna give this movie a 9 out of 10. I think it deserves the extra half star right there. This movie is pretty damn good. It's very fun to watch. Story was fire. You know what I'm saying? The acting was fire. The plot twist blew me out the water. But yeah, that was Companion 2025. Our first actual banger of the year. I don't care what nobody says. I'm telling you right now, this might be the best horror movie we get out of 2025. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Next week, we're going to be watching another horror movie, Hard Eyes. I'm gonna try to get this out as soon as I possibly can, but I do appreciate y'all for tuning in whenever I do release it, of course. If you did enjoy the video, you can toss me one of them likes. I truly do appreciate them. They don't go without notice. Again, that's going to be it for me from here. I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. But without further ado, I'm going to bid y'all good night, better morning, or that ish, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. I'm out.